Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Emily, and today we're going to be talking about TikTok. Something that comes up on the app occasionally is makeup tutorials. I have seen various different kinds of makeup tutorials, whether it be, more intricate looks, more, creative style looks, all the way from your crazy hacks or really intense, excessive makeup trends. Like recently there's that one about piling up your foundation, and then the third type of video is your more natural, this whole fox eye trend, something simple, very model-esque, but very I don't even know how to describe it, just very sultry look. And that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing it the way I would do it for my skin, while also incorporating some of the tips that I've seen in the videos. This video is also a reminder that cameras and depending on lighting and just watching it on your phone is completely different than seeing somebody in person. So a lot of the times you see these people that are extremely flawless or gorgeous regardless, but they have this really soft, even skin, and sometimes that's created not by the makeup. It's created by whether it be lighting, camera quality, filters, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's completely fine. I understand why on camera it would look like a perfect skin, but I wanted to do this video to kind of show you different techniques that I think would work to create that kind of a nice, simple, everyday skin, while also being realistic on the expectations that we set with makeup. This video is not gonna be that dark and serious. I feel like I was really talking really seriously, but no, I really enjoyed filming this video. I really like how the look came out, and I hope you guys learned something new today. So alright, so I got my headphones in, listening to Driver's License on repeat for the next 3 hours. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is my base. So I'm going to start off with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer, and I'm going to just start spot concealing in little areas around my skin that, I have blemishes, maybe a little bit of extra redness. I don't love this concealer. It does have a really strong fragrance. It's really intense, but I have it. It's a decent-ish formula. It does oxidize, as you can see. Pretty good amount. Now I have a more in-depth tutorial about spot concealing in comparison to going in with several layers of foundation. That's in my beauty sessions from Instagram. I will be putting them all in my highlights. I know I've been really bad about that, but you should just go check my highlights, and all of my previous beauty sessions will be there. So I'm going to take this Sonia Kashuk brush. It's a small, densely packed brush. This has now been sitting on my skin for maybe about a minute, and I'm going to start just tapping that into the skin. Now the benefits of spot concealing is you're avoiding adding too many layers. You're just adding coverage to the areas that you want to add. Honestly, in my opinion, when it comes to looks that are more natural, more model-esque, I find that sometimes I end up spending more time on those because I'm doing these tiny little steps to achieve that. Again, TikTok, people have amazing skin on TikTok. The thing is that you either have a beauty filter or, obviously your phone camera and quality is just not going to be able to pick up on all the different layers, textures, crevices, pores on your skin. So you're able to hide it so it looks like, oh my god, look how magnificent my skin is. So I've noticed a lot of TikTok people just take their concealer under the eyes or on the nose area, and that's perfectly fine. For me, I do want to add a little bit more color to my skin since my face is a lot lighter than my neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Thrive Cosmetics CC cream. I'm going to take 1 pump of that, and I'm actually going to mix that in with 2 other products. So this is the e.l.f. Poreless Pretty Primer, and then I'm going to mix it in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm just going to scrape that on the back of my hand, and I'm going to mix these all together on the back of my hand. And what this is going to do is obviously sheer out the product a little bit more because we are adding that luminizer, and then that primer is just going to add a little bit of kind of long weariness to our makeup. And I'm actually just going to start applying that with my fingers. I really enjoy adding any tinted moisturizer or a CC cream with my fingers, just because I feel like you get the most natural look. So mixing the foundation with your moisturizer or with a luminizer is going to help sheer it out a little bit, so it's just not as full coverage and thick, but it'll also add a nice level of luminosity to the skin. In a lot of TikTok videos, I see people just slather on a ton of foundation, and then it's just look how smooth and natural my skin looks. And it's yeah, because that's the camera not picking up on the level of cakiness. If you were to go outdoors, it'll look completely different. So that is my skin so far. I haven't even used all the product on my hand. I still have probably the other third left. My skin looks really really nice right now. It looks really natural. It doesn't look overly done. So I'm just wiping off the excess because I ended up not using all of it in my skin. All right, so next I'm gonna go in with concealer. You will have seen this trend probably a lot, and I actually learned this trick from Robert Welsh here on YouTube. He is a makeup artist. I've learned so much on how to fix my makeup through him. And so his tip is to kind of put your concealer right here on the inner divot to kind of brighten up this area, and then put a little bit here on the outer corner. And then what you're going to do is you're going to blend these two parts separately and then blend them in together. So you end up using a lot less product. You're going to get a nice amount of coverage around the eye. It's not going to look as cakey. This is the Rare Beauty concealer. It is a very brightening, as you can see. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the outer corner first. Press that concealer in place and then just start pulling it up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press that under my eye and start to bring it down towards this area we didn't apply any concealer. And then I take a little bit right here into this little divot because there is a good amount of darkness in there. So just putting a little bit of product there will just help brighten the entire eye area. I think for today I'm just going to do bronzing just because I want to show you guys a specific thing I've seen a lot on TikTok. So I'm taking the Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer Stick. I bought this. Is it my favorite? No, but I wanted to use something in a stick form for the purposes of today. But anyway, so what I'm going to do with this bronzer is I'm going to take it right here at the top of the cheek, and I'm going to actually start from up here. And I'm just going to place that downward like that, following the cheekbone. So I put a little bit on the sides of my forehead. I don't want to make my forehead any shorter, so I don't put anything on top. I concentrate it on the side. I've noticed a lot of people love doing their nose contouring. I'm not going to be doing that just because I just don't think it's necessary. So I've applied that really high. Now, the whole kind of theory around doing this is essentially you're lifting up the face. If you put your bronzer contour too low, it might look a little muddy and actually bring down the face. So applying it a little higher kind of ensures that you don't bring it down too low. You can definitely apply your bronzer a little bit lower if you'd like, but this is like a nice way to kind of not have to worry about going too low. I think this is one of those TikTok tips that I actually really enjoy. You're applying it almost like a blush, which is what I like to do. And I'm taking this kind of really dense foundation brush. All right, so next I have this e.l.f. Blending Perfector brush. And I'm gonna use this to start blending out this really poorly done nose contour. I actually prefer doing my nose contour with the bronzer shade. However, this is a pretty warm bronzer shade, so maybe this wasn't the best idea. I'm just really poorly blending this out in the direction that I like kind of placed it. I like to blend it in right into the brow. Okay, so I didn't bother with making sure the contour was perfect. I just kind of blended it out. But if you want to have something more precise, you can take a little bit of your concealer and just put a little dot right there. Do you need to contour your nose? I was for like a bit, and then I got tired of it. So no. The only reason I like to contour my nose is because I do have like a crooked nose and it pisses me off. So this is like a nice way to make it feel like I'm not as much of a crooked nose actor. But if you want to do your nose contour, you can. I just think let's embrace our nose. I mean, I complain about my nose, but that's because my nose is crooked. That's like a different thing. Okay, so I finished with my bronzer. Again, we pulled it up so that it gives us kind of that natural lift. We're gonna do the same thing with our blush. I'm taking this e.l.f. Putty blush, and I'm gonna take that same foundation brush, and I'm gonna place it that same way that we placed that bronzer. So we're going to be lifting upward. So I definitely applied this blush. I usually don't go in with a like dense brush like this, but that's perfectly fine. I'm just gonna blend it out as best as I can. So it's just a reminder, like brushes do make a difference with your makeup. So if you want something more full coverage, use a denser packed brush like this. But again, as you can see, our face is being pulled up. I put some more blush right here up towards the temples. I think that also creates a nice youthful look, bringing it all the way into your bronzer, even on your forehead. Another thing I'm gonna do is add some blush on my nose. That is something that's definitely been very popular as of late, and I actually love it. I think it's so cute. I think it gives that nice flushed look. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of my Charlotte Tilbury luminizer to the tops of the cheekbones real quick. A little bit on the nose, just to add a more natural glow. I'm actually, after this, only gonna go in with one powder product. I'm actually gonna keep this all creams, just because if you want to achieve like that, again, that more skin-like finish, creams and like liquid products are just better in my opinion. So I'm actually going to be using the Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation. I did a review of this about 2 weeks ago. I will have that linked below. So powder foundation I think is a really great option if you want something that's really quick and add a little bit of coverage but isn't going to change your skin too much. I'm going to take this BH Cosmetics brush. I absolutely love this brush. It's a nice big fluffy brush with an angle to it, so you can really get into the under eye with this portion of the brush, but at the same time you can really press in the powder without it, you know, flying everywhere. Notice that with a lot of videos people will use a big fluffy brush like this one. This is the Makeup Shack T80, which I like using as a blush brush. The problem with using like a brush like this is, for me, I like to really be able to press in any powder under my eyes. This I feel like I can't really get in there, so I definitely prefer something like this, but this is kind of very similar in that it's a bigger brush that's gonna be able to cover your face pretty quickly. But the way this is kind of pressed in compared to this that's a lot more flimsy, this will just be able to press in product a little bit better. So I'm going to zoom you guys in so you guys can get a closer look of how my skin is looking. Hoping that my skin is showing well. But again, like, it doesn't look like I'm wearing that much makeup, because although again in these videos it looks like these girls aren't wearing any makeup, it just looks like they're naturally like that. Like, that's just, it's not reality. It's not gonna work like that. It's a nice video to watch. It's like aesthetically pleasing, but that's just not how skin is really gonna look. So this is how my skin is looking. Now that we're really close, I actually get to show you guys that effect. So if you can see that my blush and bronzer is going like this, it's just pulling upward. I'm gonna take this Wet n Wild fluffy brush, take just a little bit of that cream bronzer on the brush, and I'm gonna start just brushing that very loosely into the crease. So I'm just gonna start just softly blending that into the crease just to give a little bit of color. For me, even if I'm just going in with like a simple wing liner, I love doing this because I think it just adds like the nicest amount of depth to the eye. So now we're gonna create that like really highly popular like fox eye trend. Just want to say that this like isn't, it was a trend in 2020, but it's not anything new of a technique. It's very popular in like Asian beauty. It's also just when it comes to somebody with like monolids or more hooded eyes, this is kind of like I feel like a classic. People really like to credit like Bella Hadid or like Kendall Jenner when it comes to this fox eye trend, but it's nothing new, and I don't know, don't want to put more credit towards celebrities. So I'm going to take this NYX retractable pencil in the shade brown. So what I'm going to do is just take this liner and just start lining the outer corner of the lash line. Start bringing it up. So I'm going to stop right there for a second. I'm going to take a very tiny little flat angled brush. This is an Anastasia Beverly Hills brow brush. So what I'm going to start doing is just kind of pulling at that liner to start blending it out. And I'm going to start creating myself that nice little pulled out wing. So now we're going to do like that little inner corner, that really like sultry look. So I'm just going to take the liner and just place a little bit on that inner corner. Okay, once we have a little bit of product there, I'm going to take the brush. Again, this is a reason why it's so important to like use a really tiny little brush to make it easier for yourself, because you can get right into that little crevice and just pull out that liner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take whatever's left on the brush and kind of just use that along the lash line. It's funny doing this because I used to do this in high school. I actually used to take sometimes a pencil liner, or would take like a powder and like a flat brush and create my wing like this. This is how I used to do it in high school a lot of times. I love me a wing liner, and I used to do wing liner all the time, but sometimes I would, for like a softer look, would legitimately do this. So it's kind of weird that it's like a trend now, because this is literally what I used to do. Alright, so I finished the other eye off camera, and then I added my mascara, and then I added my lashes to my left side. So I'm going to show you guys how I cut and put on my lashes, but I just wanted to show you guys the comparison. So it's really popular. My cat just jumped on here. Hey dude. He wants to look out the window. My cat likes to look out the window. What, dude? What, my little dude? Alright, so I'm going to try to hopefully finish this with my cat walking around my desk. You can probably hear his little footsteps, they're so cute. So like I said, I finished off my eyes off camera, did my mascara, and then I added my lashes to this side. Now it's been really popular, a really popular thing to cut your lashes in half and then use that to just apply them on the outer corner to add a little bit of a lift, so you can kind of see the difference how this one gives me a tiny bit of lift. These are the Spice It Up lashes from Boldface. These are nice lashes. They're not necessarily my favorites from them, so I didn't mind cutting them up. But just take the lash and kind of see how much you would want. This is a really great option for you if you aren't really comfortable applying fake lashes, or if you don't like fake lashes that much, if you just want like a tiny bit. So I cut off like 3 large chunks, if you can see that. And then I just have this little bit left. And I already applied my lash glue on them. And take my tweezers, and I'm just gonna apply these on the outer edge of my lash line. So I'm just gonna like literally just push them into the lash line and kind of wiggle them around to make sure that they're really in there. So that is the eyes done. Alright, so I'm gonna do my lips. I'm gonna do a little bit of overlining like I typically do. I usually go overboard because I have a problem, but today I'm gonna try not to. So this is the MAC lip pencil, I think in the shade Strip Down. I really like the shade, as you can tell. I'm almost done with it. Alright, and then I'm gonna go back in with that Milani Sheer Stained Lipstick, or whatever it's called. I don't know if that's the name. Alright you guys, so that is my like way I would do my makeup based off of like TikTok trends. I don't know what the title of this is going to be. Alright you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more of me, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter if you want a little bit more of crazy me, if you're ready for it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, turn on that notification bell, do whatever you want. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!